Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I'm not having a fantastic day. In fact, did this cruise line just ruin opening cruises in the world for everybody? So that's right. The big announcement was Hertigan Cruise Line was opening all those cruise ships. They wanted to have 14 of their ships sailing before September. They were the first ones to launch with the 200 and some passengers, 400 passengers sailing the coast of Norway, and everything looked good and rosy and until one of their cruise ships just arrived in the Arctic with 4 crew members who tested positive after the 177 passengers had already disembarked the cruise ship. So now they are scrambling. They are isolating everybody on the ship, 160 crew members, and they are contacting the 177 passengers and telling them that they have to isolate and at least get tested so they can track this, and they're hoping that nothing spreads and that everything's okay. And yeah, it's not okay. In fact, the Norwegian press has just announced that there is 29 more positive cases on the cruise ship, making the total up to 33 more people, with still more test results to come in and happen. And that's not including any of the passengers who might have been on this cruise ship. And now a lot of questions are being asked. When was the last time that these crew members were tested? Because this was discovered from a crew member with an unrelated illness. When they were being looked at, they were tested, and that's when they were found out. So people are wondering, well, when did this actually, what kind of testing were you guys doing? How often are you testing? Were these crew members tested before getting on board? Were they isolated before coming on board? Were they tested before their home country? Because they're all foreign nationals that came down ill. Although they will not tell us right now what area of the ship the people were working in, or what nationality, or the severity of the illnesses right now. They're just saying that they have this, although we do know that people are being treated in the hospital at the shore, not on the ship for a lot of these cases. So this has got to be the worst case scenario for reopening. AIDA Cruise Line, that's hoping to open up in August as well, also had stops going to one of these ports. They've already been told, nope, we're not going to let you in now until all this is solved and settled down, and so your cruises to our country are canceled. And Mine Ship had 10 people test positive, and they're being isolated on their cruise ship. It almost is like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? And the trouble is, the only cruise lines that are allowed to start up are the smaller cruise lines, right? The ones with the smaller ships, fewer ships, smaller areas, and they're the ones who just don't have the big resources that a lot of the big companies do. So if you were to ask me about the procedures for bringing crew members on board, you test them before they leave. You test them when they arrive. You isolate them for 7 to 10 days in a hotel before you let them on the cruise ship, and you test them 3 times during that 10-day stay. And only if they pass all the tests, then you bring them on the cruise ship. Does that not make sense? But it doesn't even, we don't know what kind of tests that they were done. Right now, the cruise line is not answering. They are kind of in a uh-oh kind of mode right now. And yeah, I would be in a uh-oh kind of mode as well, because they might have just ruined every other cruise line trying to open everywhere else in the world. Because a lot more people are going to be very, very skeptical if a small cruise ship of 177 passengers spreads the virus around to, say, 50 to 100 people. Obviously, something was going wrong. Now, the people on board the cruise ships did say that The crew was making sure people were washing their hands. The crew was making sure everyone was staying socially distant. The crew was making sure the sanitization was being done. Cleaning was everywhere. They were making people wear masks. So there were procedures in place, but the question remains, did this come on the ship before passengers even got on board? Like I said, these people weren't discovered until they went in for an unrelated illness, which kind of begs the question, how often was Hertigan testing their crew members? How often were the crew members tested before arriving in the country, before leaving their country? Were they isolated, or were they just put on the ship immediately once they landed on the plane? All these questions need to be answered, because really, once you fly in an airplane for any length of distance and you're going to, if you're a cruise line, you should isolate those people for at least 7 days before you bring them on your cruise ship, because you just can't afford to have what's happening right now. Worst case scenario for this is if some people on this cruise do come down with it, the passengers that way. Imagine if, say, 50 passengers also come down with the virus and anybody passes away from that cruise. That is the worst news, and good luck opening anytime soon. I'll see you in June of next year, because this one cruise may have just completely fouled up everything for everybody going forward. And I want to see a lot of press and a lot of people asking questions. What kind of procedures did you have in place? When were these crew members tested? Where did they work? How often are they tested? Did you just put them on the ship when they get off the plane? What's going on? Because if those procedures weren't followed, then it's this cruise line's fault and not the procedure's fault. And that would be at least some good news. But yeah, way to completely mess things up. And it's not just like, oh, we got some people sick, we isolated them, don't worry, our procedures are in place. No, because passengers have left, more people have come down sick, and it's spreading on your ship. Great job. Oh my God. The cruising industry right now is killing me. It's killing me. I'm trying to be as positive as I can. And I'm hoping that things can finally get back to normal for everybody in the world about doing everything. I mean, Ottawa, we just got our theaters open again. And now, cruising just starts again. Just starts again. And bam! Somebody possibly messes up and puts a monkey wrench in the whole thing. Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a disaster? I actually think this is literally a disaster. This is the worst possible news, possible start they could have ever had. Sorry, the worst would have been had they caught the virus on board, found out there was 170 people on board with the virus, and they had to quarantine the cruise ship in dock with everybody on board again. That would have been the worst case scenario. But oh my goodness, if these people were on a cruise ship for 7 days before this, a week-long cruise, how was these crew members not picked up? How was that virus test not picked up in 7 days? Does that mean they weren't tested for the entire 7 days? Because if that's the case, you guys dropped the ball big time. And I hope that's not the case. I hope this is a freak accident, but it just sounds like something's gone wrong. Somebody wasn't following the procedures correctly, and now we're paying the consequences. And so, yeah. Worst news ever. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm devastated. I had such high hopes that they would do it right. And of course, no. No, they didn't. Well, I hope you appreciate this video, even as bad as it is. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button, maybe hit the subscribe button, and until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation. Just not in Norway on that cruise ship. I guess. Unbelievable.